on the Six Screens Telenetwork, earning the reputation of giving all the right ingredients, uninhibited in exposing the hard, cold facts about the rot in our society.
Well, hello everyone, and how glad I am to see so many people coming into the Six Screens tonight. Well, Connie and Dick's show, they just broke all kinds of records. I couldn't believe the amount of people that were coming into that program tonight. So we're so glad that Dick and Constance's program is really doing so well and doing such a great job. And we want to thank Dan and Angela Clark as well. Well, a lot of things are going on behind the curtains of the Watchtower. Well, my name's Rick Farron. I'm coming to you from the apostate capital of the world. Well, that's right up here in Boston, Massachusetts. And, well, friends, this is where ex-Jehovah's Witnesses come to talk. And they come here every single Saturday night and every other Sunday to talk about their trek in the Watchtower organization. Now, you all know that monumental changes have been taking place. And I don't know if you watch JW Broadcasting. I mean, I have to watch it because I do the news here. I've been doing it here for 20 years. But on JW Broadcasting, as I begin to examine some of these videos, I'm really coming to grips with the fact that the Jehovah's Witness religion is imploding. It is imploding in real time. Friends, you are witnessing here history. No question about it. The new governing body updates that we've been keeping you guys posted on, especially like the one that happened last week with Garrett Lewis talking about you can now take blood out of your body, keep it in storage, and put it back in. All of these updates that JW Broadcasting has been bringing up, it's really showing that there is a massive decline. Yes, there's a massive decline. The governing body knows it. We all know they're tanking. We all know that they're in free fall. We know they're on life support. And the governing body is essentially, what the governing body is doing is trying to relax all the unnecessary rules to see if they can reverse the decline in the religion. Big time decline. And I think it's kind of useless to do it at this point. They really should have started doing it 10, 20 years ago. Now they're trying to do it very quickly. And man, I'm telling you, it is upsetting the Jehovah's Witness world. Now, I'm thinking if the governing body did act and they listened and acted sooner, they would not have reached this point. They are desperate. Really, friends, you know, you've heard me say before, the monkey died, the circus is over. They take them off the grill, they're cooked. The fact, and the reason why I can make statements like this is because the fact that their shows, because of so many people are in the decline right now at the Watchtower, so many Jehovah's Witnesses are leaving, and the Jehovah's Witness organization, the governing body in particular, they figured, you know, we got nothing to lose. You know, we can throw all these changes out and, you know, maybe we'll lose some people, but maybe we won't. So they're not sure how this is going to work, but it's not working. It's really not working. They are desperate. The governing body, the Watchtower organization is very desperate right now. They are, they're really trying to get money from Norway. We know that. And maybe this week we're going to hear about that. They're willing to actually go to court and lie so they can get the money from Norway. And they know this could really cripple them. If Norway doesn't rule in their favor, there's going to be a lot of European countries that are going to withdraw funds from the Watchtower. So, you know, when you stop and think about it, the Watchtower is doing so much to get this money from Norway. They're hiring big time, expensive attorneys to defend them. Really. And spending a lot of money doing this. And these guys don't work cheap. The big time attorney they had that came up and lied, he paid $600 an hour. So what this shows me, it shows me that the money is running out, and it's running out quickly in the Watchtower. Now, I'm not saying they're going to go under. I'm not going to say they're going to go under by bankruptcy, but I'm saying the money is running out. You only have so much money. They have sold so many Kingdom Halls, so many branches, and friends, you can only liquidate so many assets before they run out. I mean, it's like you, okay? Maybe you need money. Maybe you have a second house. Maybe you have a third house somewhere. So you need money. You're going to sell it, right? But geez, after you sell all the property off and you're still hemorrhaging, you still need more. That's exactly what's going on in the Watchtower. Now, the CSA, child sexual abuse cases, and even right now, shunning cases, they're not going to stop anytime soon. A lot of people are now attempting to try to sue the Watchtower because of their shunning and alienating families from one another. So they're not stopping soon. And all of these lawsuits are getting more expensive, as inflation goes up. Before him, if the Watchtower paid out $100,000, that was a lot of money. Now it's in the millions. So what we see that's going on behind the curtains of the Watchtower, we see first world membership. And when I say first world, I'm talking about the USA, I'm talking about countries in Europe, Australia. I'm talking about, very civil, well-organized countries. And these first world countries, the Jehovah's Witness membership is quickly dropping a lot of money. They're not putting the money in the boxes. They're not giving the donations that they gave. Now, the third world countries, Africa, India, many countries in Africa, not all, but some of the countries in Africa, India, around the world, Bangladesh, places like that, they're trying to get more people there, but they don't have the money to give them. So they're in a real pickle. And, when I think the Watchtower was in a pickle, but they crawled out of it, I often think about 1975. In 1975, the Jehovah's Witness organization was also in a pickle back then. They really were, but they wiggled their way loose. Yes. And we'll discuss why. It's a different world today. 2026 is not 1975. There's a lot of things in place today that can make it very, 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 very panicky for the Watchtower. In fact, they are in panic mode right now, and they're actually hastening their own demise through these rapid fire changes. Yeah, they're actually putting their foot in their mouth, and they're not apologizing to anyone who sacrificed their whole life for things that they say no longer matter. Now just dissect that for a second. The Watchtower, there's people listening to this program, including myself. I was a Jehovah's Witness for 50 years of my life. I sacrificed a lot. I gave them money. I gave them my time. I spent so much time even away from my family to try to suit their needs. And now they're really saying that, it didn't really matter what you did back then. We're changing things. We're in a whole new organization. And the other thing you have to realize, too, with the Watchtower, the sense of urgency is gone. Yeah, the sense of urgency is gone. I mean, there's people listening to this program. They joined the Jehovah's Witness organization because there was a sense of urgency. Armageddon's coming. You better, the clock is ticking. The generation will not pass away. The generation of 1914 will not pass away before the end comes. Well, they're all passed away now. So they got to keep moving the goalpost. So there's no sense of urgency. And, this generation of 1914, forget about it. That's done. And now also, many Jehovah's Witnesses are waking up to the fact that they won't even be in the new system in their lifetime. Put that one in your pipe and smoke it. That's causing a lot of problems. Friends, all you have to do is drive by a Kingdom Hall. You'll see so many less cars in the parking lot. You'll see field service groups. No, nobody's even meeting. Who's going to go out and service today? Instead of knocking on doors, you get the witnesses babysitting a cart, sitting next to a cart in some city place or some country place, and hopefully someone will come by and talk to them. So I'm even thinking out loud here. We always talk about what would be the next big change. I mean, all of us ex-witnesses were always thinking, what will be the next big change? Well, it could be renaming publishers to website publicity agents. Have you thought about that? Because they don't really preach to you anymore. JW.org, well, they'll do the preaching now. So all you are is a witness today is a publicity agent for their website, jw.org. So hey, who knows? Maybe they will start calling them that. But you've got Kingdom Hall branches being sold off. You've got all of this liquidation of their assets are running out, and the memberships are dropping off like flies, like we say. And we're so glad to see it. And I'm now saying too, this is what really gets you. I know in Dick and Constant's program, we had a lot of people calling in, and they were very concerned about how casual and how ungenuous Loesch was, and all of these governing body members are when they deliver a message. Like I said, there's no apology, and they know that they're hoping that they can just get it out there, just spit it out, get some governing body member to come on, spit the message out, and they hope that the members aren't going to challenge it. Well, I got news for you. They are beginning to challenge it. It's unbelievable what's going on behind the curtains of the Watchtower. Well, I'll open up any thoughts at all on that. My little monologue for the night. I am excited because we're seeing it collapse. Go ahead. You're on with us. Go ahead.
Rick, could I ask a personal question?
Sure.
You know me. I have no doubt that the Watchtower Bible and Tract Incorporation is going to completely collapse. Tell me, what are Jehovah's Witnesses supposed to do after that happens? Go to a church?
Well, we're going to talk about that in tonight as well. We're going on my next little news piece here. Many Jehovah's Witnesses, they're not talking about this. They're not talking about the changes. They're hearing it, but they're in denial. They're in denial. They don't want to talk about it. I get people writing me here and telling me about their mother, their uncle, their cousin who's a Jehovah's Witness. And, they're asking them about the changes, especially the blood policy change in the last week. And they don't even want to talk about it. They go into immediate denial. And I'm understanding what's going on psychologically to some degree with these Jehovah's Witnesses. We'll talk a little bit about that. But what do you think? You think that many of these?
I'm in the middle. Look, I'll tell you that from the blood standpoint, I was born with the blood issue. And the doctors wanted to change my blood, and my father kidnapped me out of the hospital and took me to a witness doctor in Winston-Salem called Dr. Zeal. And he put me on carrot juice, and I drank carrot juice until, I was 18 years old. And I had great eyesight, but I survived it. However, I had two sisters that died over the blood issue and a brother. And I'm also a respiratory therapist, and I've worked in 7 hospitals. And I had a triple bypass surgery, and the HLC was involved. And they were deciding to not give me a triple bypass surgery because I refused blood products. And I said, why? They wanted to stent me, and I said, no, I want a real procedure. And they said, well, you won't accept blood products. And I talked to the doctor. It was a Russian doctor. And I knew something about dialysis. My brother was a dialysis, and he did kidney dialysis on people like Elvis Presley. And he came in and he asked me, he said, the only thing I asked to do your triple bypass surgery is recirculate your own blood. And I said, I don't see anything wrong with that. I said, that's what you do in dialysis, right? And he said, yeah. I said, no, I don't have a problem with that. Circulate my own blood. I lost like 4 ounces of blood, and I'm still alive. Now, the problem is that great ignorance in the medical industry and the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society is that they've done a lot of interesting things about substitute blood and things like that. But something as simple as recirculating your own blood, not even storing it up for surgery, but recirculating it like dialysis. And I survived, and I'm living. I'm okay. I'm even better. But the problem to me is that the blood issue, which is now being exposed for really what it is, and those types of things. I mean, I've got 3 dead family members. What am I going to say to them if they're resurrected?
Well, geez, we're sorry to hear that, caller, that you lost 3 family members, but you have every reason in the world to be upset. Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you.
I mean,
yeah.
But I've still got all my family's still Jehovah's Witnesses, and they're expressing personal doubts about all of this stuff. I mean, what I'm saying, and I'm not telling them, please don't lose your faith in God and the Bible. And I'm telling them, I said, men, I mean, it's written in the Bible that if you trust, if you give your faith and trust in men, you're cursed. Men are really, really who has been, and I'm writing a film. I've got the script done, 120-page script is already done, and it's entitled "Who is the Faithful and the Sweet Slave?" Very
good, caller. Well, let's hope that. Yeah. Go ahead.
But I mean, let me just sum up like this. I mean, the governing body is not the faithful slave. I mean, that's a biblical fallacy. The faithful slave is not declared until judgment. After the
right, we all got that. Caller, we've got a lot of people coming in tonight, so we want to get your comments on the blood.
I'm gonna cut it short. I'm gonna cut it.
Go ahead. Yep.
You got any questions for me?
No. The question I'm asking you is what are you hoping will happen to Jehovah's Witnesses that don't want to belong to the organization? You're hoping they connect with the God of the Bible? What are you hoping for?
I'm hoping they connect with the God of the Bible and recognize that mankind has no authority on the earth to crown themselves as kings, and that's what they're
well, amen for that. And thank you, caller, for calling in. I always enjoy listening to you. Thank you.
You take care.
Okay, you're hanging with us now. We got a lot of people calling in. Let's go to 651. 651, you're on with us.
Rick, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, this is John Terrio. I'm calling from around the New Orleans area. I've called in before.
Sure.
I want to make a comment about the blood, the blood thing that's been happening. You know, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of want to, maybe clarify maybe what people are thinking. I keep hearing these people, on your talk show and on Dick and his show and his wife, and people are making a comment and saying, "Oh man, they changed the blood doctrine," but they haven't changed the blood doctrine, Rick. They've just modified it a little bit. They still have the old doctrine in place that you can't have a blood transfusion. You can't go into a hospital and have a blood transfusion. What Loesch has done is he's playing with a two-headed coin. And what I mean by that, normally when you flip a coin, you see the heads or tails, and you have an opportunity to win, 50-50 chance. But he's playing with a double-headed coin. The coin has 2 heads on it. That's the way the Watchtower operates. So, his comment was that it's everybody's personal choice if they want to put blood in storage and then have them give it back to you. and what he's doing, he's just that's the way they operate. They're just setting themselves up to protect themselves, and they're putting in a way they're putting the blame on the brothers and sisters in the congregation. You know, Jehovah's not telling you that you can store your own blood and use it, but it's your own personal conscience. And so it's a double-headed coin. No matter which way they go, they're protected. They still enforcing the old blood doctrine. You know, you can't have a blood transfusion, but they're just twisting a little bit to get themselves out of the hot seat. And the lawyer in Norway, he did the same thing when he made his comment when he said that Jehovah's Witnesses don't shun is coming from the apostates. What he really meant was they don't make the announcement that somebody's being shunned. The announcement is they're being disfellowshipped or removed. So he's actually not lying. He's telling the truth. Technically, in the court of law, he is telling a technical truth. Now, it's a lie because we understand the whole purpose of this courtroom argument, but he's lying. He's lying and he's telling the truth at the same time. It's a double-headed coin. No matter how they flip it, they win. Do you understand the point I made?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes. In fact, well, the Watchtower words things in such a way that it's very difficult for a witness. Now, you and I can pick up on what they're saying, but for a witness to pick up on it, it goes right over their head. They believe that the governing body is not really making a change or anything. And like Lowe said, he's just trying to clarify it. But it really was a change. We know that. But they just think, well, just let it go. The governing body is getting direction from Jehovah, and they're just allowing it now because Jehovah. Well, I'll tell you what I'm hearing in the ex-witness world. Some people are saying Jehovah is relaxing some of the witnesses are saying Jehovah is relaxing the rules so that, they can live out the last days on this planet in a better situation. Isn't that foolish?
Rick, and also, am I still on?
You're still on. Yeah, you get up there. Go ahead. One more minute, then we get some more callers to come in. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I had a conversation with the Jehovah's Witness elder yesterday for about 2 hours about this new announcement, and we were riding in his car for 2 hours, and so I was very careful how I would ask questions. But I brought up the thing about I said, hey, I saw on JW.org that they made a new announcement about the blood. I said, I don't really understand it. Can you explain it to me? So I got him talking. And so he told me about the old doctrine. You can't have a blood transfusion. But I asked him, I said, well, what's this new thing about? I said, the comment that this guy said on JW.org said that you can use your own blood. I said, what is that supposed to mean? But anyway, just to cut the story short, I'm gonna get to the point. And I asked him, I said, well, what's the difference between a dog's blood, a cat's blood, somebody else's blood, another human being's blood, or your own blood? I said, blood is blood. I said, isn't that still going against what the Bible teaches? They claim that you can't have a blood transfusion. And I wish you could have seen his face. He absolutely did not know what to say. And he looked like he went into a kind of a shock. But anyway, that's my comment.
Well, it's a good comment. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. That's exactly what's going on right now. They don't know what to say. Thank you. Who else wants to come on? Let's go to yeah. Go ahead. You're on with us. Yeah, go ahead.
Rick, it's JJ again from the UK.
Yes,
Hi.
JJ. Good. Hi.
I just wanted to pick up on this point with regards to what the position was on storing your own blood. So it's quite interesting. If you go to the Enjoy Life Forever book, this is the book that they currently use in the ministry. It's just what they use to study with people. On page 255, it's under the section Medical Procedures Involving Blood. It says there are medical procedures that make use of patients' own blood. Some of these such as a person donating blood or having his own blood stored in advance of surgery, are not acceptable for Christians. So this is the current book that witnesses use to study with people. Now, what Garrett Loesch was doing last week is gaslighting. He refers back to a watchtower in 2000. He doesn't refer to this quote and saying, well, actually in the Forever Live book, that now has changed. And we've changed our policy on this, and you can now store your own blood and use it. He refers back to a year 2000 watchtower, and refers to it being a conscience matter, saying that he's clarifying that you can decide for yourself how you want to use your blood. And as I said last week, this is truly wrong. And I really go along with the gentleman just before me when he was talking about a two-headed coin. You know, they want to have it both ways. And unfortunately, in their own publications, they're very clear that it was forbidden. Last week, if you were studying with someone in the ministry, that's what you would be telling them, that it's not for a Christian to store his own blood and use it at a later date during surgery.
You're absolutely right. I mean, it's right on the blood card. Right on the blood card. As a matter of fact,
in black and white.
Yeah, let me put that up right now so people can see it. It's right here. Let me show you right here. Right here. Right in the back of the blood card. It's saying there that, you cannot take and store your blood and then transfuse it back into you. And that's the blood card the Jehovah's Witnesses are carrying right now. I mean, they got to examine this. It's right there, Thank you, JJ. Oh, go ahead. Finish up. Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish up. What else did you want to say? I
had an opportunity to talk to someone.
All right.
Today, who knocked my door. Doing the campaign for the memorial, and it was all a friendly chit chat like you do, because obviously we knew each other. And I brought up this particular point with him, and I asked him, what did he think? Because I said, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. You've got to be really careful what you say, because obviously it could turn nasty on you if you're not careful. But he even admitted that, as far as he was concerned, he didn't always agree with some of the policies. So there are individuals within the organisations, some in positions of authority, that just go along with things because it's the easiest thing to do. They don't necessarily agree, but whether they're prepared to, protest about it or bring it up during their elders' meetings and question it, and get others to think and reason over these matters, so that it makes it clear that they're being duped by what's being told. There's no way that these individuals are being directed by Holy Spirit or Jehovah God, because it's a flawed policy. It clearly is. You can see it. It's just using their own publication. They're undone by it.
Well, JJ, what I think too, I love your accent. I love to listen to you talk. And what I'm thinking here is, they really treat God like he's some imperfect person. I mean, to even come out now and make all these changes they're making, but at one time they said that God approved of the changes. Now he's approving of it again. God doesn't operate like that. He doesn't. That's not. I mean, they look at God as like an imperfect person. They don't look at him as the sovereign ruler of the universe, as they would say. This is nut stuff. It really is. Thank you, JJ.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you're on JW World News. That's the news the Watchtower doesn't want us talking about. Oh, we're so glad, though, that we can talk about it. And we talk about it every Saturday night and every other Sunday. I wanted to bring this up. Right now, friends, the Jehovah's Witness organization, the Jehovah's Witnesses per se, They are deconstructing. Yeah. Now, let me just kind of identify and define what I mean by deconstructing. They're in a deconstruction mode right now. And the term generally refers to the process of critically examining and taking apart your religious beliefs, your doctrines, and your traditional faith structures. That is what the Watchtower, many Jehovah's Witnesses are doing right now. They're deconstructing. And this deconstruction, and there's many witnesses doing it, believe me, more than you would think. This is often driven by emotional letdowns. Friends, the Jehovah's Witnesses have been emotionally drained. They've been let down by the governing body through their scandals, through the abusive experiences and practices within their religious community. Many Jehovah's Witnesses are feeling this, and it's not necessarily destroying their faith. Now, let me just explain this to you. You know, when you were one of Jehovah's Witnesses, even when I was one, and I started to see some of the flaws in the governing body and when they joined the UN and their involvement with Johannes Grieber and all of the Blasphemous and all that stuff in the past, you know, it wasn't destroying my faith in God. It was destroying my faith in them. But see, this is a process right now a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses are going through. They're reevaluating. They're reevaluating their position that they've had in the Watchtower. They're realizing that, you know, it's not authentic. It's not truthful, and they're realizing that it's really a fraud. It's a big time scandal. Now, I have a video. I want to put a video up because I want you to see this video. This is amazing. Let me see if I can find it here. This is an actual Jehovah's Witness deconstructing. I got this video. I want you to see it. Let me just put it up so you can see it. Let me share it with you. And you're really going to be amazed. Here is a Jehovah's Witness man. He's been in the organization for many years, but he's terribly upset to the point of crying. Now, you listen to him, and you're going to see what I'm talking about by Jehovah's Witnesses deconstructing. Let's share the film right now. Let me get it big here for us so I can open it up. Make it full screen, which it is. All right, let's share it right now. Let's listen to it.
I'm at the point of fucking tears. I'm with you. I'm with you, brother. I've found a private place in our house, and I'm just at the point of fucking tears over this thing. I don't know what to do with this shit. What are they doing? I'm with you. I got no answers. And it's before the memorial. I want to celebrate the memorial of Christ's death and the greatest sacrifice, the greatest gift that's been given to us. That's what they tell us, and I believe it. I'm at the point of tears and anger, and I don't know what to do with it. I'm with you. I'm sorry. I wish I had answers. I don't have any answers. My wife pointed out I'm losing my religion. I've been hanging on to it. I've been identifying as a Jehovah's Mugwump. I've been sitting on the fence watching these changes and hoping for better. And this is actually better. This is an improvement. This will save lives, potentially, I guess. But the reasoning is absolutely specious. We knew this. There's no reason we couldn't have said this decades ago. I don't know what to do with these emotions. I'm sorry. I'm with you. I'm lost. I'm with you. I'm lost. I'm confused. Are they being led by God or not? Are they resisting God's leadings? Is that what's going on? Why does it take them so long? Why does it take them so long to reach the proper conclusions? If they're being led by God, why does it take them so long? I mean, I guess we are seeing a lot of changes, rapid changes. Maybe this new governing body is actually heeding the proddings of God. I don't know. But I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm just absolutely torn apart.
Well, stop right there. That is a man deconstructing. That is a Jehovah's Witness man deconstructing. He doesn't know what to do. He's distraught. Maybe you've been there. Maybe you've been there and felt the same thing. This man is suffering in agony, and you can understandably get it. Outsiders, they might not understand how devastating this is, but right now, this deconstructive movement among Jehovah's Witnesses is taking place. Many Jehovah's Witnesses are examining their experiences with the Watchtower, and they're seeing that the Watchtower always has had, and will continue to have toxic theology, hypocrisy, toxic theology. Many witnesses are really realizing this and deconstructing your belief system. Friends, this can be one of the biggest nightmares of your life. Really, did you notice the man, his hands are shaking? He's really just totally distraught. It's a terrible thing. Now, in the process of deconstructing, many witnesses are not talking about it. Many witnesses are experiencing the 5 stages of grief, and I'm going to get into that because I believe that's what Jehovah's Witnesses are experiencing right now. Now, just to bring you up to speed on this, I've been getting a lot of people emailing me and giving me information about their relatives who are right now Jehovah's Witnesses. And they go and they ask them, hey, have you heard about the blood change? Have you heard about all of these changes? What do you think? And a lot of the witnesses go mute. They will not discuss it. And there's a reason for that. And I'm going to tell you why in just a second. But, really, I got on jw.org, and for a full week now, for one full week, there has been no blood update. Here they dropped a big blood, bomb last week with Loesch. There's been no update. The Brotherhood is completely in the dark. As I said, they're mute. I know they know about it, but they're not talking about it. So the bomb has been dropped. Watchtower is saying nothing about it again. The hospital liaison committees have not been given any new information. Come on, Watchtower, you got to move on this. If you can now take your own blood stored and put it back into you with a transfusion, well, the hospital liaison committees, these elders should be aware of it. But there's nothing that I've read, like crickets out there. There's nothing I've seen that's given the hospital liaison committee members any new information. And the majority of Jehovah's Witnesses, as I say, they're appearing to be ignoring this new light completely. And nobody really knows, at least they're not talking about it, what's going on. Folks, I think, I'm going to go down, I'm going to go on the record saying this. I think that we may be witnessing, all of us ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, we may be witnessing something for the first time in Watchtower history. They're losing it. They are totally losing it. They are truly cooked. And I believe the governing body realizes it. In the past, They've always been able to wiggle their way loose, right? They've always been able to come up with something that, to be able to get the witnesses from challenging them. But now many, many witnesses are challenging the doctrines and teachings of the Watchtower. So this is what I believe many, 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 I'm talking about, when I say many here, I'm talking about hundreds of thousands. I'm talking about even could be a couple million. I believe that what the Jehovah's Witnesses are experiencing right now are the 5 stages of grief. Do you know what they are? I'll tell you what they are. Well, the first one would be denial. This is where the Jehovah's Witnesses are right now. They're in denial. They really don't want to talk about it. They're denying all of these changes. They don't like the changes, just like you and I wouldn't like it. They're coming at rapid fire sequence. So you got 5 stages. Let me tell you the 5 stages. You got denial. Then you get anger. Did you experience anger? At first, I remember when I first was getting out of the Watchtower, and I was in for 50 years, and, I really believed it, just like all of us have. And I remember when I first heard that that they were, involved with Grieber and all of the things we learned before, Besserim and all of that. I was in denial. I couldn't believe it. I'm saying, is this true? At one point I didn't want it to be true, but the more I found out these guys are terrible, I realized that, hey, it made me angry. So that's the second stage of grief, is anger. You get angry. You're grieving over your mother, your father, a loved one, they die. The first thing, you don't want to believe it. You deny it, just like the witnesses are denying this new doctrine of blood and other things. And then you get angry. You begin to say, geez, I'm angry. The loved one I had died. I'm gonna miss that one. I love my father. I love my mother. I love my brother. Love my wife. So you get anger. And now there's other parts too. There's 5 stages. Bargaining. Oh, bargaining. You got denial, which the Watchtower people are doing right now. You got anger, which they're doing right now. Now you get bargaining. Well, what does that mean? How do you bargain in the 5 stages of grief? Well, let me try to put these emotions in perspective for you. So when the emotion of grief, of bargaining, in your mind, this is a stage of grief. It's a psychological defense mechanism. Now it's characterized by desperate attempts to reverse or lessen the pain. So in the real grief world, you lose a loved one, you're trying to reverse it. You're trying to lessen the pain by kind of thinking it really didn't happen. And also what happens is you begin to negotiate. That's also another thought that comes up in bargaining. In other words, you lose a loved one. So now you begin to bargain with God or the higher being that you're praying to. And you say, I'll tell you what, if you can reverse this and bring my loved one back again, I will do everything in my power to help you. I will do more. Maybe the witnesses are saying, I'll go out and service more. I'll do whatever. They don't like what's happening. They're going to start bargaining with God or even themselves. So this is a buffer against intense helplessness. That's what the witnesses are feeling right now, an intense helplessness. So now all of these stages, and I mentioned him, let me mention him again. You have denial, anger, you have bargaining, and then what comes into play here is depression. Did you get depressed? There's plenty of witnesses right now that they're at that point. They're depressed, and they're not really accepting all of this. And that's the 5th stage, is acceptance, that they can't accept what happened. And that's where the witnesses are today. So I'm putting the witnesses in the 5 stages of grief. Many are almost through it, but there's many just learning about this for the first time. And now these stages are not necessarily linear. By that I mean they're not in order, and individuals may skip stages or revisit them. Did you go through any of these stages? These stages, by the way, in the stages of grief, they're a way to process shock and pain. And that's what the witnesses are doing right now. They're actually processing shock and pain. Yeah. Did you? I did. I was in shock. I was in pain. Really. I mean, not, physical pain, but mental pain when I learned out this organization duped me for 50 years of my life. You probably feel the same way. So how do you feel? How did you feel when you were deconstructing? Did you deconstruct yet? I think if you're listening to this program, you have. But how did you feel? Who would like to speak up and tell me how they feel? If I can, yes, go ahead.
This is Stephen. I would say that I felt very angry. I think anger was there was a range of emotions, all the ones that you mentioned, but I think anger was the predominant one, even all the way up to the present. And if I might add, and if I'm going too long, just stop me. My ex-wife had this blood issue come up. She had to have the surgery, almost an emergency surgery, but they gave her time to kind of build up her blood because they said there would be significant blood loss. And she fully expected me to sign the blood card. So after I finished laughing and picked myself up off the floor, I told her, if you want to kill yourself and leave your children without a mother, your grandchildren without a grandmother, and they already lost their other grandmother, I said, you'll do it on your own. I said, if you want to kill yourself, you'll do it on your own. You will not do it with my help. And I said, and if I'm at that surgery and they come to me, I said, I'm going to have them pump so much blood into you, your head will probably explode. But my point is that could have very well been a surgery where she could have stored blood ahead of time to be reused. But of course, as you just pointed out, it says it right there on the blood card that you can't do that. I just wonder what she's thinking, if she's thinking, to know that I almost allowed myself to die in a surgery, and because Watchtower said I couldn't even reuse my own blood, let's not have a blood transfusion, and that she could have died because of that, only to have March 2026 come around, and now it's okay to reuse your own blood. I wonder right now, that brother that you showed in the video, I wonder if she's feeling those same emotions. Hopefully she is. Thanks, Rick.
Well, Stephan, always good to hear from you. Thank you very much for weighing in. Now, all of us went through some stages of grief when we left the Watchtower. Now, some left because there was no love and maybe didn't feel any grief at all. But if you were a full-fledged witness and you really followed the doctrine and you were hoping to live in the new world and play with the panda bears and the lions and everything was going to be hunky-dory, and all of a sudden this thing implodes in front of you, you had to experience something. What did you experience? Did you experience anger like Stephan? Did you deny this was all happening? Did you try to bargain with God, Jehovah, that, well, God, if I do this, could you make it better? And what happened to you? I'd love to hear from you. Go ahead and come on, say hello to us. I know myself. I felt I felt those emotions. I felt most of them, and I'm sure you felt them as well. Because who wouldn't? I mean, friends, when you have a belief system, when you figure that you figured life out, and that's what we all figured when we were Jehovah's Witnesses, that we figured it out. And when you have a belief system and all of a sudden it goes down the drain, it can hurt. Let's see. Someone want to come on? Let me check and take a look at the numbers here. We get going. Okay, we've got no. I guess we're all set. But we got all right. Looks like let's go to Donnie in London, England. Go ahead, Donnie.
Oh, hi there, Rick. I'm just thinking that after shock and anger, often comes resentment. And, because you think all these years you've wasted, and especially if you've lost loved ones to the blood issue. And resentment, it's like a poison, isn't it? And it can really destroy you inside. I was just thinking that really.
Yeah, Donnie, it really can. I mean, maybe it doesn't bother some people, but to really what we all felt when we were Jehovah's Witnesses, we all felt that, wow, this is amazing. We got the truth. We know more than everybody else. Jehovah's teaching us, and we have the answer to life. And then that blows up in your face. I mean, come on, that could be a letdown, right?
Yeah, definitely. Because also you've not actually lived your life because you put everything on hold and you don't have children and you've not got a divorce. So you've just ended up miserable. And so your life's been, you can't take those years back. You can only rejoice that you got what, God woke you up and that you got out of that crazy religion, if you can call it a religion.
Oh yeah, no, I feel really good today. I really, really do, and most people do. Being free, like just on a Saturday morning, I could get up today and do what I want to do. I'm not putting all the kids in the car and running off to the meeting to go out and service and knock on doors and people aren't even listening. What a wasted time. Jeez. Well, Donnie, always good to hear from you. My goodness, always good to hear from you. Calling in from London. Thank you, Donnie. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nick.
All righty, thank you. Well, anyways, things are happening, friends. I'm telling you. This is not. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm really glad you're putting, these things, not necessarily in order, but giving us telling us what they are. Because when we came out, there was no understanding of what we were going through. There were no therapists, but this is a really good description of what you go through. And like you said, it's in no order. When I first left, I was very confused. I second guessed myself. I wondered what I was doing, that I was okay. Then I was in extreme fear. I thought Jehovah was I was driving a convertible at the time, and I thought Jehovah's hand was going to come down and grab me out of my car and throw me on the side of the road. And I went through that. Then I went through anger, and I was angry for like 10 years at the governing body. And I was projecting it onto everybody. I wanted to kick pastors to the wall. If I went into churches, I didn't want anybody telling me anything. But it's some kind of weird thing. Like you said, Rick, at least you're putting words to it so that people, and it's by grace, because people out there that are going through it are, you think you're crazy. You think you were in this world totally consumed by Watchtower. You didn't know anything about the outside. You didn't have a lot of tools. You don't have a lot of skills. You know what I mean? And so you're saying it like it is, Rick. You're saying, hey, these are the things you're going through, guys. What'd you call them, Rick? The 5 what?
The 5 stages of grief.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Boy, that sure helps. That's going to help a lot of people, Rick. And I got to tell you, I've never had more than probably 2 or 3 people on my site before, witnesses, and to have almost 400 Jehovah's Witnesses. And it's weird, Rick. You said something interesting a minute ago. You said they're quiet. I think they're quiet for a couple of reasons. One is I think they don't know what the hell's going on. And then 2, I think they've been told to be quiet. Because somebody said on my site, several of them said, this wasn't supposed to get out. I chuckled because I thought everything's out in the open. But they said, this wasn't supposed to get out. Take it down. Have him take it down. Why did this get on the internet? Why did this get out? The apostates are going to get out. It was like hundreds of comments. And I never saw such a thing, Rick. I think there's a massive, I have to agree with you, Rick, there's a massive movement right now that we don't even know. People, this has got to be the tipping point. That's what I wanted to say, Rick.
Well, yes. Now, the last time the Watchtower was in trouble and they wiggled their way loose, Dan, was back in 1975. Really, they didn't know what to do with that, and they came up with this idea that many witnesses were running ahead, and we all believe that to some degree. But we had the internet wasn't around then. People couldn't double check their prophecies and everything else. Today it's in the open. Today it's in the open with the internet. They're not going to get away with it like they did 50 years ago. People today are not that. Everyone's got a way to check it out. So they're just hoping and praying that these changes are not going to leave the witnesses in a bind where so many going to challenge them and leave. But that's what's happening. It could go either way, and the governing body knows it. And by the way, Dan, I'm reading the comments here in chat on YouTube, and one person said that you, Dan Clark, helped them immensely getting out of the truth. See that? There you have it.
Oh, thank you, Rick. Thank you. I love everybody on there. I really do. Rick, and I even cried for the witnesses the other day when they were on my channel, man. I really did. I remember being in that confusion. I remember being scared. I remember thinking I'm leaving my dad and mom. I remember thinking I'm leaving everybody I've known for 40 years. And I thought, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? But I couldn't deny, like I was going to say on the show, Rick, the BS meter goes off in you. The BS meter goes off. And if you don't listen to it, I'm going to tell you what happens. Here's what happens if you don't listen right now. If you tuck it away and you tune out your inner small voice, the Holy Spirit, your consciousness, if you tune out your consciousness that says there's something wrong, and you're told, of course, on Watchtower, don't listen to it, don't listen to your heart, don't listen to your mind, everything's the devil. But what I found, Rick, was the people that stay after a big thing like this take on, I hate to say it, but a certain form. One thing they do is they start lying for governing body. They start becoming as guilty as the governing body because you're guilt by association. You've seen they lied. They lie again, and they lie again. And you've been told about false prophecies that if anyone says something and it doesn't come true, do not fear these ones. And so you kind of share in it. Here's the other thing that happens. When you push down that small voice, eventually, Rick, you lose all compasses. You don't have a sense of anything. In fact, when I go to the assembly, when I've seen that these brothers in there that've been a long time, they're somewhat mentally ill, and they all lie. They all lie. I said, what about 77? Never happened. What are you talking about? They was like, are you insane? How about the generation prophecy? Never happened. What are you talking about? How about the overlapping generation? Never happened. What are you talking about? And I thought, holy shit, a part of their brain has shut off because they refuse to listen to their conscience. God gave us all an inner GPS, BS meter. We have it. But if we listen to governing body, they'll say, turn it off, tune out, stay hypnotized, stay brainwashed. So I just want to tell the people, this is God's gift to you. What's happening right now with Watchtower, the governing body, saying it how they said it, making this change, this is your greatest gift to say, thanks, but no thanks. I'm done. It's time. We have to make a decision at a certain point. We have all got to make a decision. Do I want truth or do I want falsehood?
Well, there you go. Good comment. Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much. Yeah, you're on with us. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
This is Jerry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say, Rick, there's a lot of people waking up from this blood change and stuff, but I think that there's going to be a lot of JWs that are going to still be asleep and not wake up from it, because I had spoke to my mom and some of my other JW family and talked to them about it on the Thursday, even the day before they made the change. And I tell you, Rick, I got like a ghost face from all of them. They looked like they had all seen a ghost, and they didn't want to comprehend it or even face what the potential change was. And then it happened, and since then I haven't heard from any of my family. The day before that, I went by a car on my lunch, and there was two sisters there, and I had approached them, and I told them that there was going to be a big change occurring in the organization, and I told them it was going to be Governing Body Update number 2 by Garrett Lowe's, and I gave them a very detailed thing of that, and I asked them what they thought about that, if they changed that, and all they could tell me, Rick, was, well, we don't know until we hear it and make the change. And then I even asked them, well, what if they do? What do you think? And they really didn't want to go there. And I only had about 5 more minutes on my lunch break, and I gave them a bunch of facts and things to think about. And I told them, for one, if this change does happen, which it will, when you two sisters wake up tomorrow, go to jw.org, and it's going to be there waiting for you with your morning coffee.
Yeah.
And I told them that, think about this. Do you think the governing body is going to be held accountable, or do you think they're blood guilty? Because if they do that, they are blood guilty. And I told them that in that, new light or whatever that they're going to release, that they're going to take no accountability and not apologize. And I told them, this was law, this was rule by Watchtower that we had to obey, that we couldn't even store our own blood things. And I told them, thousands of people have died and they're not going to take any accountability. And I just told them, sisters, think about this. Did God's law change, or did the opinion of the governing body or the organization? Because God's law doesn't change. And according to them, that was God's law. And if that's how they wanted to interpret it and change it, that means thousands of people are dead now. And they just said, okay, thank you. Thank you for saying that. But Rick, I don't know if they're going to wake up, because I told some of my family members, and literally that was on a Thursday. They got the news Friday, and Saturday they were all going on service, giving out the invitation to the memorial. And it's like, do you guys even recognize that these are your brothers and sisters that have died? I don't know what it'll take, Rick. And I was even at home, in the same day, there were some witnesses from another territory that came on my street, knocked on my door, giving out the invitation. And I wanted to talk to them, Rick, but I was so emotional and stuff from the change, because I've been a victim of the blood policy from Watchtower too. So this has affected my life, not having anything to do with storing blood, but nonetheless, it still affected my life. And when this sister came to my door, I cracked the blinds open and she was waving an invitation. And I wanted to just go out there and just ask her a bunch of questions. Sister, why has this happened? What do you think? And I couldn't even have it, Rick. I just shook my finger like, no, thank you. And that was it, because I was too emotional. But Rick, I think there's a lot of witnesses that are going to wake up. But I think there's some that are just, they're never going to wake up. And no matter what they say, it's just never going to happen.
Well, JP,
For example,
go ahead. Yep.
I was going to say, Rick, for example, you remember like when they changed the time and they said the witnesses no longer have to keep track of their time. You remember that? That was what, like 2 years ago?
Yes.
And everybody thought, oh, it's so great that's between us and Jehovah now, how much time we have to do between us, and things are so much easier now. And they just believe it. But if the governing body said the complete opposite, and they announced that, hey, brothers and sisters, Jehovah God is a God of order, and we want to keep track of things even better, because that's how Jehovah is. So because of that, friends, we're going to all give you this little card that you're going to get handed on Tuesday, and the brothers are going to install a time clock in the back of the Kingdom Hall, and we want you to clock in when you meet up for meetings or field service, and when you're done, whether you're at car at work or door to door, we want you to come back into the Kingdom Hall and clock out, because Jehovah wants us to keep better track of our time, and we need to be very thorough. They would say, oh, this is a blessing from Jehovah. Now we don't have to keep so much track of our time. We don't have to put it in our monthly planner and our schedule. And Jehovah's being more thorough. You know what I'm saying, Rick?
Oh, yeah. Well, don't you despair now, because I'm going to tell you something, JP. Now, we all...
No matter what they say, it's always right. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, that can't, JP, that can't always go on. Look at, if you're in the workplace, and all of a sudden your workplace changed pretty drastically and pretty quick, you're going to notice it. if you are in a relationship and the person that you're, having the relationship with automatically changes big time, like pretty much overnight, you notice it. So, this idea of the witnesses not saying it, they're noticing it, JP. They are noticing it. They're just not saying it. It's it's probably something like if you're married to someone, they get Alzheimer's. I mean, it's a terrible thing, but at first you kind of deny it. You hope that's not the case, but then you're noticing the changes are really taking place. This person's not the same person anymore. This is just normal human experience. So even though those friends of yours that are witnesses aren't talking about it, I believe they're doing it silently. And they're eventually, JP, there's hope. There's hope. Don't you lose hope, okay?
Hey, Rick.
Thank you, JP. Yeah, go ahead. You're on with me. Go ahead.
Hey, it's RJ here.
Yes, RJ.
I know we're talking about the blood issue tonight, and I don't really have a personal connection to that because I think it doesn't affect everybody. I mean, it affects the people who are involved in that and are in that predicament, but it's not going to affect all of us,
Oh, no.
Or it didn't. And it's almost like when people buy lottery tickets, they say that, part of the thing of buying lottery tickets is you fantasize about what you're going to do with the money. And people would be like, well, we're going to give our kids the house and we're going to give this person this amount of money and all that. And that's kind of how it was with blood transfusions, whereas, you think about your family members or the people who would have made a decision for you when you were a child. They would have sold you down the river to please Jehovah, and that's sick.
It is sick, Jay. It is sick. It's. I'm glad you. We hear the word sick on here a lot. I agree with. It's hard to really describe this organization, but the word sick comes up a lot. Yeah.
Rick?
Yeah.
It's Zachary.
Yes, Zachary.
I'm going to restate what I stated about a week ago about this, and then I have another thing I want to say. Some of the people in the governing body, they may have never felt strongly about this setting blood aside of your own and then having it put back in you. They may have never agreed with that fully anyway. None of them were there when that policy was put in place. None of them were members of the governing body. So you come into this group, like if they did bring you in, Rick, on the governing body, and if you disagreed with that, what would you have been able to do? Nothing, right?
Nothing.
So they need a supermajority to change a policy. And so you'd have to wait until there are enough people who are questioning it to change the policy. All of the people in this governing body were not there when the policy was put in place. And what I see in this governing body is they're removing a lot of those old rules. That's what's happening. There are enough of them, a supermajority, to remove that rule. And I'll tell you this, a thing that's going to happen, and I don't talk like this often, a thing that's going to happen is they're going to allow people to celebrate birthdays. Just like they currently allow a brother who has an, as they say, unbelieving mate, they allow him to have a Christmas tree in his house. It should not be in the main room, but they allow it. They allow it in a room that is not the main room because they say that that brother's wife should have freedom of worship. If she wants a Christmas tree, he should allow it. That's in the writings now. So I do think that they will allow birthdays one day because, why? Okay. Today I was looking at some video about some president in Africa who was doing Ramadan prayers, and all the people were so excited. They didn't even know he was there, and then they found out it was the president. And so all the comments were in French, a lot of them. I'm testing my French, like trying to translate it. And then after I come up with my translation, the comments to the video, I click on translate to English and I see what was there. So a word that I saw was the word fete, F-E-T-E. People were saying, bon fete, President so-and-so. And so I translated it, happy holiday, because of Ramadan. But then when I did the translate to English, the thing said, happy birthday. And I thought, I don't even think it's his birthday. And I realized there's a translation thing going on. In the Bible, when Job lost all his children, they were at all the children were at one of the houses because it was that person's feast day. I think they may use that scripture to start to allow people to give some special attention to their date of birth, the anniversary of their birthday, date of birth. Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope they don't call it feast day, but I mean, that'd be kind of, yeah, but they probably could, but they will use that scripture. Yeah.
You know, they always use an off word.
Oh, yeah. Semantics. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Well, that's my thought.
Well, that's a good thought. Thank you, Zach. It's always good to hear from you. Thank you very much, Zach. Well, you're on JW World News. Who'd like to speak up? Did you feel any of the anger? Yes. Who's this, Randy?
Yeah, this is Randy.
Hi, Randy.
I just wanted to say that, I wanted to say that I know probably right now there's more active JWs listening probably than you've ever had. I mean, years ago, I was an active JW. I was listening to your show, of course, in private. But I know they're listening, and I know, like, what was the guy's name, the brother, a couple of callers before, JP? He says he doesn't know how many is going to wake up, but some will. And I agree with them. I think probably a large number of them that's listening tonight will probably wake up.
Well,
I've got something really to say. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to say you're right. There are active witnesses listening in right now. And our telephone lines here, Randy, you can't believe what happened here in the last couple of months. It's exploded. What's that tell you? It tells you more witnesses are saying that's it. They're looking for the exit door.
I'd like to talk just for a quick second to those who are not going to wake up, who are just listening, and they're not going to wake up. I've got something very important for them. I've got a product I'd like to be able to bring to them and sell them. It's a self-sufficient cryogenic machine that they can store their blood and carry with them everywhere they go.
Well, I'll tell you what, that would be a good invention. Do they make such a thing? I mean, you're making it sound real.
No, basically, they ought to think about that, because that's what if they're going to stay asleep and not wake up and not smell the coffee, they need something like that.
Right. Because, I mean, this idea of even when Los came on and saying you're able to store your blood, I mean, that's a bigger task than you would think. And, what about, like, I can see for an emergency situation, who's going to have their blood stored?
This is where they have medical ignorance. So, like, they've not been in an operating room. They didn't take high school biology. And I hate to tell them, but dead is dead. We can talk dogma later. Please choose your blood type, and please choose life.
One thing too it might help them to do is those that now maybe they can go ahead and take blood and tell the elders, hey, how do you know I didn't take my own?
Well, that's true. That's that could be a way out, right? Yeah.
Right. I think eventually they're just going to go ahead and open it up and let them take everybody's blood at some point.
Well, they got to. You can see them moving in that direction, but they got to do it slow and very cautiously, Randy. very cautiously.
Think of all the people that are sick. There could be someone in the hospital right now.
Yeah. I just hope this will wake up my daughter and some of the other people's loved ones that still asleep in it. You know, I just hope it will. Like JP said, there's a lot of them's not going to wake up, but there's going to be a lot that will.
There's a book by Diane Wilson, a paperback, and she talks about the losses of the babies with RH factor and the pregnant women. Her name's Diane Wilson. She was a witness.
Well, Randy,
I'm really ashamed of what I did. I'm ashamed of what I did when I was a Jehovah's Witness, talking to the doctor, going to do a C-section on my wife. He says, no, he said, I can't promise you, because I asked him, promise me you won't give it to her. He says, well, I'm telling you I'm not, but I can't give you a promise because I've never faced this before. Other doctors will just promise you and lie, and in their mind they're going to give it the minute they need it. And here's what I said. This is what I'm ashamed of. I said, I just got to tell you this. Since I'm going to be in there, if anything happens and you order blood, I'm going to be dragging her off that table and out of that room. I said that. I'm ashamed of that. And I got to tell you what happened is in there the whole time he's sitting there. I'm standing there and he's got her wide open and he's telling me, sir, it's doing good. We're almost finished. We had a minimum amount of blood and doing loss, and we've done really good, and we'll be finished here real soon. I think it made the guy nervous because he did the worst job of sewing her up. That she had the terrible scars that bothered her for years until we had another C-section and a better doctor that got rid of the scars. But anyway, that you know,
well, look at.
I was just as worse into it as could be.
Yeah, but look at the pressure, Randy, that put you under. My goodness, look at the pressure you were under. You know, and your wife too, not just you, her too. Boy.
I'm just thankful I never lost a family member. I never lost a wife or a child because that'd be a guilt that'd be terrible, hard to live with.
Boy, it would be.
Find out now it's okay, you know.
Yeah, boy, especially right now if you found out right.
Yeah, I did lose a dog over it. You know, we could have saved the dog, but I wouldn't let him do it. I went and drove 30 miles to get that special the alternative that they could use, and it still didn't help. But you know, because I had a friend who was a vet. He says, "Oh, you won't believe how it turns them around and give them fresh blood." You know?
Jeez, you know, we were so fanatical about blood. Even I was talking to my wife Susan the other day, and remember when the Watchtower article said that there was blood in some plywood. So she remembers going to the lumber store.
Candy bar. It was in candy bars.
Oh, candy bars. Yeah, dairy.
I wrote them a letter, Baby Ruth.
Yeah.
They quit putting it in, but they said we did use it for fillers, you know, for a while. They quit, and you couldn't get a rabies vaccine.
Now, Baby Ruth Candy said they did use blood.
Yeah, they told me that. They said they wrote me back and they said, but we don't do it anymore. But for a while, we was using it for filler.
Wow.
I don't believe that, and I think it's ridiculous that you would let your dog die. I'm sad.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous too. You know, well, he was old anyway, but it's still ridiculous. But you know, that's why I can understand some of the ones that don't, you know, that's in there now. You know, you have compassion because we did some of the same stupid things.
Well, Randy, don't hold yourself hostage. At the time, you thought you were doing the right thing. But now we all look back and we say, what did we do? Well, thank you, Randy. Always good.
I just looked at it this way. I'm glad it was only an animal. I'm glad it was just a dog. I'm glad it wasn't my wife.
Boy,
Think how guilty that would be.
oh, my goodness, Randy, it would be terrible. Well, I'm glad it all worked out for the best. Boy, oh, boy. Well, thank you, Randy. Always good to hear from you. Thank you.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah. Who's this?
This is Chad in California.
Yes, Chad.
And I just wanted to mention that in the Kansas City Star in 2016, my brother's wife died. She wasn't able to, she was trying to get a liver. and he fought it for several years. By the time that they decided that they could operate and give her a liver in Nebraska, she passed away, but because it took too long. And my brother, I lost him about a year, 2 years ago. I lost two brothers, but I'd hate to think what he would be going through right now, knowing how much they fought everything with the blood issue, that he could have saved his life. But now that he's gone, it's not an issue. But when you think about that kind of stuff, when it's in your own family, it's huge.
Well, gee, I'm sorry you lost some loved ones. And boy, so many people have been calling into our Six Screens programming, and it's unbelievable the amount of people who have lost their life due to the blood policy of the Watchtower. Well, thank you, Chad. Good to hear from you again. Thank you very much, Chad. Well, it's just amazing to me. It really is amazing to me. But, you know, this idea of change, people don't like change. There are people that, well, they have Google email, for example, and then Google has to tell them months in advance that they're going to change something because people get upset. So don't you think for a minute that many Jehovah's Witnesses are not upset over all of this? And like Randy was just saying, you know, he has daughters that don't even speak with him. It's a terrible thing. And many of us are experiencing that, including myself and my wife as well here. She has daughters that will not speak to her. But I'm going to tell you, they're going to wake up. They really are going to wake up. They're digesting this change. And they're going to say, you know something? I don't believe in the Watchtower anymore. I can't. But look at that man I showed you here tonight, deconstructing. The poor guy is shaken. He's crying. He's in tears. Many witnesses are like that right now. People do not like change. And I'm even thinking that change can even overrule mind control. Maybe not in all instances, but I'm really thinking change gets people thinking. It really, really does. Whether it's Google email, or whether it's your place of employment, or whether it's your mate that changes like overnight on you, you notice it. The witnesses are noticing change. Okay, you run with us. Who want to say? Did you experience deconstruction? Were you angry? Were you denying that the Watchtower was wrong when you first got out? Well, I'm sure many were. Hey, I want to bring one other thing up here tonight too, before we close the program. I came across this video. I want to play it for you. And, you know, the governing body in a video from jw.org, they're comparing themselves to Jesus. I couldn't believe this. I really, really couldn't. Let's see if we can't go back on this. Hold on one second. Let's go back on this 1 second. Let me put it up here so you can see it. I do have it. And let me put this up so that I want you to see the governing body member saying that he's comparing himself and the officials of the Watchtower to Jesus. I think that's blasphemous. I really, really do. So let's see if we can't share that right now. Okay, let's put that up. Let's play it. And I'm going to make it a full screen so you can see it better. Let's make it, well, I might not be able to make it full screen. Oh, yeah, I can, yeah. All right. Well, let's start. Let me get it back here, and we'll put the sound is muted so we can get the sound going. Okay, let's do it.
Body could be likened to the voice of Jesus, the head of the congregation. So when we willingly submit to the faithful slave, we're ultimately submitting to Jesus' authority and direction.
Let me play that again. I mean, this is what they're saying now. The governing body is comparing themselves to Jesus. I mean, isn't that taking full liberty here? Well, what do these fools think they're doing? I mean, they're mocking God. That's blasphemy. That's blasphemy. Well, let's listen again. I want you to hear it again because I couldn't believe it when I first heard it. Listen in.
The governing body could be likened to the voice of Jesus, the head of the congregation. So when we willingly submit to the faithful slave, we're ultimately submitting to Jesus' authority and direction.
That's sick. I mean, we use the word sick. Yes.
That's really offensive.
I couldn't believe it, Pixie. I mean, who would have? I have never heard a pastor, a priest, a theologian, a scholar compare themselves to Jesus. That's over the top.
That's the height of hubris, pride, and arrogance. That and Brother Farron, you're much more Christian than I am. I could go agnostic or atheist any day. I find that offensive.
Oh, no doubt. No, that really, you know what that is? It's blasphemy. It's really putting yourself in a position that they shouldn't put themselves in. And he's saying,
mortal men be so egotistical. My word.
well, that's why. I mean, really, even if I was a witness and I heard them say that, I'd have to start looking for the exit door, Pixie. I would. There's something wrong. You don't go saying stuff like that. That's total. Only an imbecile, only a person with a grade level 5 mentality, about 11 years old, would accept that, because when you're 11 years old, you don't know if Santa Claus exists, the Tooth Fairy exists, whether the Easter Bunny's real. But only a person 11 years old would connect with that.
I think they're narcissists, and there's the proof right there of how arrogant they are and how they've put themselves above everybody else as some sort of authority. Not only do they dispense salvation, which no mortal man should do, but now they think they're the Christ. There you go.
It's unreal.
That's the religion people are following.
But I'm thinking, even if I was an elder, yeah, go ahead.
It's Maverick here.
Yes, Maverick.
This one makes my blood boil. This one makes my blood boil because it's not the first time. It's not the first time they've done this. It reminds me of Samuel Hurd when he said, "What I'm about to tell you next is not from the governing body; it's from Jehovah." And this is the same thing. And you know what it is, Rick? It's a tactic that we know well that gets the witnesses on board to think that I better do as I'm told. It shuts them down, you know, because what it is, if you say that your voice is likened, that what they say, the governing body, is likened to the voice of Jesus, it shuts the rank and file down. I wonder what else is said in that talk, because usually they use this kind of language when they want to change something. Don't you think? I think it's very common. There's something's going to be said that's going to upset people, and they need to sort of butter it up first. Let's condition their minds, you know, to not show any dissent. Let's shut them down psychologically. It's a really strong tactic that they use. So it's a fantastic thing you've just brought up, because to people who not, it could come across as, well, they're just saying that they are, you know, just show submission to the governing body, but they're not. They're saying, as already been mentioned, they you know, the voice is likened to, it's practically almost the voice of Jesus himself. So you better not disagree with what we're about to say. It's outrageous, Rick. Outrageous.
Well, I like.
don't know what to say.
Well, I like how you said that they're buttering people up for these changes, and you know, we could take that. In other words, that's a good way of putting it. And what they're doing is they're trying to get people to be very, very submissive to them. So basically, what they're saying is that the governing body is, you know, Jesus is working through them, and they're just as well. They're just like Jesus. They are very much like him. Geez, I don't. You don't hear anyone say that, Maverick. That's a terrible thing. I don't even know how a man can stoop that low. Even if a man wasn't even a godly minded person, I don't think a man would say that. I don't really think they'd say it. You know, really, that's foolish. Yeah.
So they don't realize what they're doing, Rick, as well, because they've just literally they're putting a noose for their own neck. Because if you're saying that the words that come out of your mouth is likened to the words of Jesus himself, it's practically the same thing, then you better not make any more mistakes, my friend.
I'm with you.
TV members, you know?
Yeah.
Because you've got no room now. You've got no room to say, well, we can't hold our hands up.
Oh, it's unreal.
And say we made a mistake, you know?
You know, in fact, Maverick, I'll tell you, it's funny. We were talking about the 5 stages of grief, but you know, I'm the emotions that I now feel is humor. I really do. It's all of this stuff has become humorous. Here, you and I are kind of giggling a little bit tonight here because it's just so foolish. It's humorous. It becomes laughable. It's a joke. It's a joke what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
It was hilarious that people were dying because of it. I could make jokes all day long about it. That people have died because of these arrogant so-and-sos.
Yep. We're with you, Pixie. Hey, let's go to 813. Yeah, go ahead, Maverick. No, go ahead, Maverick. Yep.
No, go ahead. Go and take the call. I have an exclusive for you. You might be interested in this after. Right, let the caller.
Okay, I'll come back to you. 813, do you want to speak up? Yeah. Go ahead. 813, okay. 831. How about 831?
Yeah, Rick.
Yes.
Hi, Rick.
Oh, it's you, Anne-Marie. I wasn't sure that was you or not.
Oh, no. I wanted to make sure everybody had their chance. I don't like to interrupt. I'm really with Maverick, like he said, buttering them up. You know, they are so crafty, the governing body. They don't say directly because they don't want to trip your radar switch. They don't want to trip that bullshit trip. So they say they could be likened to the voice of Jesus. And then they take you by the hand a little bit further and say that it could be said that so if you don't obey and submit to them, then you are basically going against Jesus. Well, here's a little bit of a thought. It's funny that you should say that, brother governing body member, because we're not even allowed to talk as Jesus. We're not allowed to take the emblems, which Jesus said in John chapter in verse 35 through 65, that we should partake of his body and his blood, the emblems of his life, just like he did in the Last Supper. You know, not literally cannibalism, but the one thing he told us to do. And as often as you do it, do this in remembrance of me. They turn it around and make a satanic ritual out of it. But we're supposed to obey and submit to them, or else we're somehow going against Jesus, when again, we can't even talk to him or obey him or follow him. Thank you, Rick.
Well, thank you, Anne-Marie. Thank you, Anne-Marie. Hey, let's play that clip again because it's really getting people aggravated. Let's play it again. Let me expand it here. All right. Let's play it again. I want you to play it.
The governing body could be likened to the voice of Jesus, the head of the congregation. So when we willingly submit to the faithful slave, we're ultimately submitting to Jesus' authority and direction.
Well, there you have it. I mean, it's just absolutely nuts. It's nuts what the Jehovah's Witness organization is up to these days. Hey, Maverick, let's get you back. I want your thoughts.
Yeah, yes, Rick. I mean, I didn't want to go off on a tangent, but this weekend, 2 days ago, I got a knock on the door, and I thought, who's that? So before I opened the door, I just checked through my spy hole, and lo and behold, it was 2 young witnesses. And I said, this is quite a new thing. It's been years since I had an actual knock on the door. And then I just waited for a while and realized it was my congregation. There was some people downstairs in my apartment. And they popped an invitation for the memorial through my door. And I thought, okay. So obviously they forgot I live here. So I'm not on the do not call list, by the way. So I took the invitation. I had a little scan through it. Did you get one through your door, Rick, by any chance?
Oh, no, I haven't. No.
Did you get an invitation?
No, I haven't. No.
So if anyone is right, so I scanned the invitation. Nothing untoward. It's got a picture of Jesus looking upwards, sitting by a tree. And I can send you an email. I've spotted a subliminal picture at the base of Jesus, a little gargoyle demon face at the base of where Jesus is sitting. It stuck out to me straight away. I can send you an email right now of it, and you can if you have time and can be bothered to look for that or put it on another show, I can send it to you right now. It's so clear and distinct. And I thought, what are they doing? Are they mocking? They're mocking again.
All right.
So
Well,
I'll send you. I'll send it to you right now.
yeah, send it now. If I get it, I'll put it right up here so people can see it.
Yeah. And if anyone thinks it's AI, they can go. If they have an invitation, they can go and do the check themselves. It's like a mirror image. It's half. I don't know if you've got it, but
All right. Yeah, I got it here now. So let me see if I can't get this thing uploaded here. Just give me a second, and we'll see if we can't get this thing into my. Well, let's see. Okay, we're gonna download it. Just gonna download it, and okay, let me just put right here. Hold on 1 second. All right, just give me 1 second here. We'll get this right up. I want to put it up so everybody can see it. Maverick just sent it to me from London. So give me a second here, do that. And I'm going to get into my video suite now. And I'm going to get that picture right up here. Okay, let's do this. Let's go to my media assets here. And let's put it up right here now. Let's add a file. All right.
He really looks like the Games of Thrones Jesus.
Well, let's see why.
Maverick, I saw that gargoyle too. And was it over on the right of the pamphlet?
yes, right at the base. Incredible. Like once you can see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah, it
It's
kind
not
of
the
freaked
first
me
time.
out. Well,
It's
I
not the first
remember gargoyles are supposed to scare away demons. That's almost like calling Jesus kind of subliminally a demon, because you know Satan hates Jesus. And that's crazy. I'm glad you brought it up.
Well, interestingly, the last time I saw the same kind of imagery was in the 2015 convention invitation. It was almost identical, different kind of Baphomet-looking demon face thing that Jesus is sitting on. And I thought, is this a mockery to say that the Jesus at the Watchtower thinks it's following is actually, its foundations are in the occult? That was my kind of speculation. I'm not saying it's anything's in stone, but like Rick said, don't take it to the bank and cash it. You know, I'm just speculating as to why they would have a sinister, gargoyle looking image at the base of where Jesus is always sitting on a rock or a tree stump or something. Every time I see a picture like that, it makes my ears prick up. I'm like, they're mocking, they're doing a mockery again. So there's some people in there that obviously have other motivations going on. And the rank and file have no idea what's going on.
Well, Maverick, you are very observant.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just picked up the leaflet thinking, okay, what's going on? There's an invitation, and then my eyes dropped right down, and I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. There's layers.
I think they know. I think they know their days are definitely numbered, and they're probably blaming Jesus while trying to get the rank and file to continue following them.
Yeah.
Well, there it is. I think I got it up there, Maverick. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, it's not too clear. Maybe people see if they're watching on a big screen, but can you see it? Yep. A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a gargoyle face, and it's like there's two faces there. There's the one that's lighter at the top with his like pointy out ears, and interestingly, it's got like the fists like behind it, almost like mocking, like you've got two fists which is where Jesus' hands are there. And then underneath is another kind of more sinister, darker looking, ghouly figure. It's strange. It was so crystal. Who was saying just now that they saw the same thing again? So it's not just me. It's not just me seeing it.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's definitely noticeable. Definitely noticeable. My goodness. Yeah.
yeah, and to me, I just thought, well, what are they trying to say? Because it's always around the imagery where Jesus is sitting or praying or something. Like I said, there was another one very, very similar to this in 2015. It's quite a while back, but the invitation to the convention, there was another one just like that. And I thought, oh, goodness me, look, they're mocking. They're mocking. So this is a memorial invitation and they're mocking.
Well,
Christ.
it's a shame. It's a shame. Well, thank you for sending that. My goodness, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Maverick. Appreciate it. Let's go to 978. 978. Hold on one second, Dan. 978. Go ahead. Yeah, unmute yourself, Susan.
Okay.
Yeah, you're ready. Go ahead.
I wanted to mention, we were talking about, they're revamping the blood policy. But what about some of the other doctrines that they're going to have to address that they're going to have to, like 1914? What else did we say?
The 144,000. Yeah.
The overlapping generation. They're going to have to address these because there's more and more people that are claiming to be the anointed as far as 144,000 are concerned. So they have to address that. So now that they're addressing some of these major things like the blood doctrine, I think they might have to start addressing these other things too.
Well, you're absolutely right, Susan. I mean, everyone's speculating what the next changes will be. And I think you're right on track with that. Good. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, Rick.
Yes.
Just a quick thought. This is Stephan again. Rick, you and I have been around long enough to remember that Watchtower used to teach that the Bible wasn't for us, the rank and file. It's primarily a love letter. I heard a circuit overseer say to Christ's anointed brothers. They used to also teach that Jesus wasn't our mediator. You remember that, correct?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so then wouldn't that also by extension mean that this whole blood policy does not pertain to the rank and file, but only to the anointed?
Well, yes, you'd have to. You're absolutely. That's an interesting thought you're bringing up, Steph, because you're exactly correct. But what the Watchtower would do to weasel out of that, they would say by extension it applies to the great crowd.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they would say. I know they would. Yeah.
But primarily, this is only for the anointed.
That's right. You're right.
My point being, if you're a rank and file Jehovah's Witness and you're shaking in your boots about whether or not you're going to need blood, or if you've taken blood, does that curse you to eternal condemnation? According to the society, according to the Watchtower, this doesn't apply to you anyway. So you can sleep better tonight. Thanks, Rick.
Well, I'll tell you, Stephan, you are quite the analyzer. I'll tell you, you dig deep. You dig very deep. You come up with some interesting thoughts. Thank you, Stephan. Let's go to Dan. Dan, come on back.
Hey, Rick.
Yes, Dan.
Yeah, I was just going to say, do you know what they do with people who think they're Jesus? You know what I mean? Kind of like governing body. I mean, they're not exactly saying it, but they are. But, they put them in mental wards. There was a guy one time that thought he was Jesus, and it's a true story. And this psychiatrist came in and says, oh, I can handle him. I can fix him right away. And so he went into the cell where he was at, the room. Are you there?
I'm here, yep.
Right. So he went into the cell. I'm going to pull off here. Hang on. He went into the cell, and he says, I'll handle this. And anyway, he got a cell next to him. He said, put me in the cell next to him, the psycho worker. He went in the cell and talked to him, and the guy says, I am the Lord, I am this, and I am that. It's a true story. He went into the cell next to him, and he started cutting. boards, and this crazy guy was listening, you know, and he was just sawing and cutting and nailing and cutting and nailing. And then finally he walks over to this ward where the guy was Jesus, and he had a handful of nails and he had a big cross. And he said, there's only one thing left to do, Jesus. That was the end of his sanity. It's a true story.
Yeah.
So that's what they do with people that, and they're getting pretty far out there. I mean, when I heard you read that, when you made that comment, when you read that, when you played that video, I was like, man, right after the blood thing to say, we hear Jesus' voice and we represent him and you know, but again, here's the thing that people got to remember. They still need your submission. Everybody has to submit. As long as you're submitting, you're under that spell. You're under that governing body spell. And you've been given an invitation to see the truth with this whole thing. So even though they're saying, come under our spell, you know, we're under, you know, we're under, you know, the Watchtower's under, the congregation's under Jesus, the governing body's under Jesus, and he's the head of the congregation. Everybody cannot deny the reality of what they've just seen with the blood, and they can come out of this spell. It just takes a little courage. But anyway, I wanted to share that about the ward. Don't you think they're about ready for the ward?
Well, I like that. Yes, thank you.
Welcome, Rick. Want to say something?
Hey, Rick, you know, I just wanted to say that it was interesting what Stephanie was saying about, no, not Stephanie. It was a man that came on and said that he heard from, and I think he said his elder friends, that they're going to be doing a brainwashing kind of a situation coming up here shortly so that nobody will be leaving. So, man, I'll tell you what, if I heard that, I would start saying, I'm going to watch myself. You know, if you feel like led to close your eyes while you're watching certain things or leave the room and go to the bathroom because you feel that might be happening, I would definitely, you know, just check in with yourself and make sure that you're not just falling into their hypnosis, you know. So
yeah, and I think that's what Stephan just said. You know, that's why they came out with, you know, we're the governing body. You know, Jesus is our head. Listening to us is like listening to him. I think they're establishing that authority again. Like, let's round everybody up. Let's reground them. Tell them who's who, and then continue the brainwashing.
Well, I'll tell you, they're going to try every trick in the book right now, Dan. Any way at all to keep this thing alive. Hey, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Angela. Always good to hear from you guys. I want you to know that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's go out to looks like, is it Dick and Constance? Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. I just had a quick thought. You know, at the convention last summer, the Watchtower showed a video where the words Kingdom Hall was coming off of the building, and the brothers were getting their go bags, they were getting in the car, and they were driving off, and they had a dovey background in the sky. So as you always say, Rick, they tell you before they tell you while they're telling you, and then they tell you. I wouldn't be surprised. I think Anne Marie was right. I think they know the end is near. They can't sustain the BS. And they're going to be telling the witnesses, the ones that are hypnotized to believing it's the truth, that they sell your house, sell your car, sell everything, and give us the money, and we're going to tell you where to go. There's going to be a FEMA camp, and you're going to be safe there because Armageddon's right on the verge. Well, that's the last-ditch effort, in my opinion, to get as much money as they can from the Jehovah's Witnesses. Another thing I would say is that 6 Screens has touched thousands of people. And a lot, maybe thousands, have come out of the cult because of the 6 Screens. So 6 Screens is very influential. I know last year I invited Stephen Lent to come on, and we wanted to talk to him about a bunch of different issues. And I asked the audience, I gave the phone number out to the Watchtower, to call the Watchtower and invite Stephen Lent to come on. These guys would never have the guts to come on because they're just fraudulent. I know the time that me and you went up to Watchtower, you weren't afraid of them. You know, they, oh my God, it's right there, and you know, get security out there. We confront them and we tell them, come on 6 screens, debate us, tell us your position, tell us why you came up with this new light on storing your own blood for a transfusion, which was never allowed before. This is a cult, and I'm just saying this right now, but I think very shortly they're going to come out and they're going to go sell your house, sell your car, sell everything you have, give us the money, and we're going to set up a place for you where Jehovah will protect you from Armageddon. I think they're on the cusp of that right now, Rick. Thank you.
Well, Dick, in fact, I tell you what, like you mentioned, they tell you before they told you. Well, 2 years ago, not last summer, but the summer before, they had, there was a congregation in a certain areas, a few congregations, and the word was spreading around that they had to move. They had to get out of there. Something was going to happen. It was a video they were playing at the convention. And so the bunch of congregations got the word from the headquarters to move out of there and go to a certain place. So some of the brothers and sisters in their video was kind of, mocking it, or I don't have to go and all of this. But so anyways, a bunch of the brothers and sisters in the video went to this certain place. It was like a campground. And like you said, like a FEMA camp, you're saying, but it was like a campground somewhere, someplace. They didn't say where. But what did they have there? A contribution box. You remember that? Yeah. Yeah. They had a contribution box at the camp because, they were saying then they were really talking about the go bags. Get your go bag. The elders were supposed to tell you where you're going to go, but we still haven't heard where you're going to go with the go bags. So it's leaving a bunch of witnesses hanging. Thank you, Dick, for bringing that up. Thank you. Well, if anyone wants to speak up, we got a few minutes here. What would you like to say? You're on with us.
Hello, Rick.
Oh, hello, friend.
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm moving forward. Yes.
Good. Yeah, Joe's here too.
Hi, Joe.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Wanted to relate an experience. Yeah, we just wanted to relate something that happened today.
Sure.
My brother who is not a Jehovah's Witness, was never a Jehovah's Witness. They're Catholic, but they know everything that we've been through, and he watches a lot of the XJW stuff. Well, today, 2 of the sisters from the Kingdom Hall came, of course, with the memorial, and he said, oh boy, he said, well, should I say anything or should I not,
Yeah.
So anyway, he's listening to them, and he said, I don't know how he started, but anyway, he related to them about us. He didn't give our names, but I said, they probably know. He said, but my sister and my brother-in-law, they were Jehovah's Witnesses. They're ex-Jehovah's Witnesses now. And they said, oh, really? And he says, you know why they left? And they kind of listened. And he said, they left because they found out that there are, I don't think he said pedophiles, but he said that they're child sexual abuse cover-up. That's how he said it. And then their response, of course, was, well, you can't believe everything you hear. And he said, well, I don't know what he said to that, but he just kept going on and on. He said about the how much time that we put into building Kingdom Halls, and that basically we did all the work and then they profit from it. So he covered that. He covered the child sexual abuse, and he covered the shunning. He said, no. He said, my nieces and nephews, I haven't spoken to them. He said, I think that it's terrible. I think that it's horrible that they're not speaking to their own parents. They really didn't have much to say, but they got an earful. And then my brother called us right away, and he said, I got to tell you what happened. I said, well, good. Don't hesitate to say our names, who we are, because we put our name and our phone number out there, so don't hesitate. But he said one of them was kind of listening, and the other one was denying everything. But we knew who they were. Oh, he had it on his Ring, because he's got the Ring doorbell, so he had the whole thing recorded, and he sent part of it to us. So
the point is that we tell everybody about Jehovah's Witnesses because it's going to be the public. What is it? The public. Public.
The public is going to inform
Yeah.
our children. Our four are shunning us. We haven't heard from them in more than 3 years, and I'm convinced that it's their next door neighbor, their coworker, someone in the public is going to inform them and help them to come to see what's going on. So
Well,
our job is to make the public know.
Yeah.
well, that's a good mission you're on there. That's one way of doing it, Joe. And in the
Just very quick to cap this. The reason that I agreed to enter that organization, the only reason is because I was interested in the family learning the Bible and doing charity work as a family. And sure enough, we realized they do not do charity work. It's all self-promotion, all self-promotion for profit, for their profit. And it turns out that as far as I'm concerned, now we are doing the charity work.
well, you got that one right.
There's a saying that says charity begins at home.
That's right.
And I truly am grateful that we're able to share in that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. You know, I have to tell you something. You guys, every time you come on here in the chat, they all love you guys. They really do. They love you, Joe and Fran. And everyone gets all excited when you come in. Well, thank you for your thoughts tonight, and thank you for sharing that with us, Fran and Joe. Well, thank you. Vice versa. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work. Yes, go ahead. You're on with me. Yes, go ahead.
Hey, this is Jesse in Yuma.
Yes.
Hey, Rick, I got a question for you, but I want to start it off with just a little quick story.
Sure.
It's a political story, but my family still talks to my wife. They don't talk to me and Gilbert. They think that me and Gilbert took our wives hostage. So they talk to the wife still, but they don't talk to me and Gilbert. But the other day, my wife got so tired of my mother-in-law because every time she visits her, all she does is bash on Trump. And she goes, "Hey, Mom, with all the new light you got, the beards and you can wear dresses now. Did you guys drop the political neutrality?" And she goes, "No, because all you do is bash on Trump. I mean, you sound like a hardcore commie, like Jesse says." And so she told her mom that. And I guess in the Spanish congregation where we come from, all the witnesses were communist, leftist then. Is that the same in the English? I always wondered that. In the Spanish, they're all on Section 8 housing, government, depression, every kind of government program. They could change the Spanish congregation and just name it the government program congregation, because everything is a government program with them in the Spanish congregation. Is it the same thing in the English?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, I'm sure there's, many of English people, in some of these English-speaking congregations too, that, getting help from the government, and rightfully so, many need it. But I do know what you're saying. It's something that a lot of witnesses, I'm going to tell you what, the Watchtower, they love it when people get on the government payroll, because that allows them to go out and service. They can go out and service now, and they got money to put gas in their car and tires and be able to drive around all day and do the work for the Watchtower on the government's dime,
So let me ask you this question. What do you think? Me and Gilbert debated it. We think they will never drop the political neutrality. They'll drop in the new light. They'll get rid of even homosexuality. They'll get rid of transgenderism. They'll do anything, but they will never drop. They'll get birthdays. They'll get Christmas. But I don't think they will ever drop the political neutrality dogma.
You don't think so?
I think is the line. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, of course they've got to. They've got to remain that way to some degree. I mean, they've always, there has to be an enemy in all stories and all. There's got to be an enemy, and the government's the enemy. Yeah, the government's the enemy.
Okay, great point. I never thought of it that angle. Thank you, Rick.
Well, Jesse,
the host is always right.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jess, you're a good man. Now, don't you ever change. You just keep staying like your brother. You and your brother, we love you both. Thank you.
Okay, talk to you, bro.
Thank you.
Hello. Before Jesse takes off, can I just say something? This is Apostle Babe.
Hi, Apostle Babe. Yep.
Hi, I just wanted to bring up that this is how Trump's family did become wealthy, is by having and owning property that the government would pay for. So it was this kind of housing. It was HUD housing. It was the supplemental income, this kind of stuff. So yeah, there's that. Just wanted to bring that up.
Well, that's good, Apostle Babe. No, in fact, I have to tell you, this economy right now, I mean, everybody's going to have some help. You can't have, what are the gas prices out in California right now, Apostle Babe?
I'm hearing it's like $6.
Is it really?
I haven't been out and about to see. I hear it's the highest of the whole U.S.
Yeah, we're just about here in Massachusetts, where I've never seen it this high. I've seen it at $3.89. Next week they're saying it'll be $4. As long as I've lived here, I'm a 78-year-old man. I've never seen gas prices this high. I know you guys out there in California are getting killed, but this is going to really strangle the economy. People, in fact, I'll tell you, I do business with a lot of pizza shops, and the pizza shops always tell me when gas goes to $3 a gallon, people stop buying pizza, because I mean, really, that's gas money. You know, a guy's got 4 or 5 kids, he's got a few extra bucks, he buys pizza for the family, but he has to save that money now for gas. So we're going to see a real stranglehold on the economy if this continues this way. And a lot of people, I mean, I'm going to tell you, a lot of people are going to need help from the government. And really, people today, and I'm glad the government's here to help people, because other than that, we'd all be in a pickle, really big time,
I am glad too, when we need it, and then we can work ourselves off of it. And it is helpful when people need it. And looking today, like more people are going to need it than not,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I used to be a pizza delivery person, and usually they'll hire somebody, and that person that works for them, it's their car that they use. So it's the pizza driver that works for another company. It's their money, their gas, kind of like when we go out and service, right?
Yeah.
Well, gas, it's paying for it,
Well, Apostle Baby, you're a good woman. You're a good woman. And thank you for calling in tonight. Thank you.
Always pleased. Good to hear you too, Rick. Oh, and you too, lovely. Nice. I will talk with you guys later, and great show today.
Well, go ahead and plug your show now. Let the people know you get the show coming on tonight. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I used to be on your platform for years and loved every minute of it. And then there was a time of letting me go, and I was wanting to start on my channel to do a show, and I do every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Pacific Coast time. So I'm here in California, so I just continued that same time frame. So I'll be starting tonight at 9 p.m. Pacific Coast time. And there's a gentleman that's been joining me on a regular basis named Matthew. And between him and I've had a chance to host shows with many different people. And it's always a delight, to get to know these different people and have conversations with them. So, so tonight Matthew and I will be starting around 9 a.m. I'm sorry, 9 p.m.
Well, very good, Linda. Well, I'm glad that it's working out, and you deserve to do really good. Keep up the good work and keep cranking away at it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it, folks. Now, now you're up to speed on what's going on behind the curtains of the Watchtower. Now, what we do is we have we call it the after party program, and we leave the telephone lines open. So if you would like to join in, it's not being recorded. No one's going to be in there that's going to be too spying on you or anything. No one's going to have any access to anything. So if you want to talk up, you can talk in the after hours program on the 6 screens. Just remember now to be civil. Let each one talk. Don't talk over each other. And if you're on the telephone line, you unmute yourself by hitting *6. And then when you're not speaking up, either hit *6 again to mute yourself, or you can hold your hand over the receiver. Well, anyways, I want to thank you all for coming in. There'll be no 6 screen Sunday, no Sunday program tomorrow. But we'll be back on next Sunday, not tomorrow. And we certainly appreciate everyone coming in here tonight. And we always want you to stand tall. Don't you ever give in, up, or out. And the last one, leaving the Watchtower, please turn off the new light. Stay for the After Hours program. Thank you for listening in and spending some time with the 6 Greens tonight.